Hello and welcome to episode 143 of Naija's Geeking Out, your favorite podcast, your girlfriend's favorite podcast, your wife's favorite podcast, your mom's favorite podcast, your sister's favorite podcast. We're back. We're back again today. We have got a special guest in the house, and we have got a missing regular co-host who's missing today. But we'll not talk about it. We'll drag him when next he shows his face. But yes, on to our special guest, Jay. Jay, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Apparently, I'm on the show that's a thirst trap for girlfriends, sisters, wives. You all could see Kekes right now in his Batman t-shirt and his shoulders, just leaning into the screen.
Don't forget moms.
I'm good. Glad to be back.
Good to have you again. On to our resident hater and Marvel hater and DC lover. Apologist, I should say. Tunde, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. I have a lot of things to hit today, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How's Flash doing?
It's over. Let the dead rest. It's over.
Yes. Okay. All right. And then we've got Dapo. Dapo, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. This should be a very interesting episode. A lot of heated opinions, I'm sure, that's going to come out.
So what we got today? We've got trailers, TV, movie, and we've got comic books.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so that feels like we're running the gamut. So this is going to be a good one. Okay, let's drop right into it with Marvel.
Oh boy.
Trailers talk. No. We're saving secret information for later.
I wasn't sure if we were going dark side of things or the light side of things first. Like, are we doing
light side?
Okay.
Light side. What we think is going to be good. Yeah, so today, am I wrong? It dropped today, right? Is the trailer for Loki season 2.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first trailer we've seen for this season, right? I mean, we've seen some stills, but this is like the first proper trailer we've seen. Yeah, drops October 6th. And Loki's back, guys, and Agent Morbius is back. What's her name? Renslayer is back. What is that lady's name?
Sybil?
Who's Sybil? No, that's Sylvia.
Oh, Sylvia. Okay.
Yeah, Sylvia's back. But I meant the TVA one.
Oh, the Nigerian woman?
Yeah. Whoopi, yes. Do you remember what Whoopi's name was?
In the TV show?
Yeah, in the show itself.
Whoopi's back.
What is she number? Something agent?
I think it was a number. I think she was a number. But anyway, she's back. We've got the whole gang, and now we've got a new member of the TVA we're exposed to.
Oh,
Jay, what's this dude's real name? Kwai something.
Kwan.
Kwan. No,
AKA Short Round from back in the early Indiana Jones days.
Exactly. Yes.
AKA
he also played Data.
Second baddest part of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. That was rolling his eyes. I don't get into that. But yeah, so
you guys have landed that movie. Nice.
That was. I haven't even seen it yet. To be honest.
What?
You haven't seen it?
I haven't even seen it.
Surprising.
Nah,
you see the kind of people I do podcasts with.
I mean,
I have no.
You would watch
is it because it's Marvel or DC? Come on, man. This was a very interesting movie.
It's not interesting. Yeah.
Right, no comment on
that. Okay. On to Loki season 2 trailer.
Yeah, it had very strong performances. The story itself was, it was great, but it wasn't excellent. It wasn't like God tier or anything. But the performances were definitely up there. And if Ke Huy Quan was looking for a way to announce to Hollywood that he can play anything, like literally anything, that movie was his vehicle.
Okay. Fair enough.
You get no argument from me. And also a movie. It's someone like Dapo that will come and be talking all sorts of stories.
Today I can swear you yapped this film, but I don't want to.
Leave him.
I'm yapping that for right now.
No, but
Obviously,
let's
I did.
okay.
Obviously, I
Oh,
did.
you
But
did.
right now,
Okay. But yeah, let's move to them. Gangs all back. Some newbies. It looked action packed, and like from the start, guys. Wait, has everyone seen this before I go to?
I have.
Okay, so it starts off with apparently Loki's. I don't know whether he's infected by some sort of time displacement thing.
Yeah. Time slipping.
Time
Was that the
slipping.
phrase?
What was it called?
yeah,
that's
time
it.
slipping.
Yeah.
Very
So appears
similar
that
to what happened in what's this thing called Spider-Verse. Almost the same
where?
effect. Spider-Verse.
Or in terms of the visual.
Oh,
visual
the
The visuals, yeah.
You know, I was thinking. Sorry, my mind went to No Way Home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels like he's almost like a man out of time or something, and he's being pulled across different timelines, maybe.
Yep.
And it feels like this is going to be an adventure across different timelines, trying to either fix what's wrong with him or fix what's wrong with the timeline. We get to see a variant of Kang,
Yes.
right,
It's
as well.
yeah.
Yeah. And this one, this is
not to cut too far in, but Marvel really needs Kang in real life to, we need a time jump so Kang can go back and fix whatever the issue was that happened in Jonathan Major's life. Because seeing him and remembering that they haven't quite resolved his legal issues.
Have they not?
No, Marvel's actually come out and said that they're retaining him. That he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
No one says they're not retaining him. That's not the issue. But public perception is still in the doghouse. He still needs they still need to bring that to get that kind of fixed in some way. But we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, no, but sorry to digress.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw Victor Timely.
Yes. Oh, was that his name? Victor Timely?
Yeah.
The variant of him we see is
Variant
Victor Timely.
The carrier. Oh, yeah. I Lord knows.
Just a little tidbit for those who don't know. Timely was the original name of Marvel Comics.
Exactly.
Ah, okay. Did not know that.
I wonder if they're
Yeah, they probably played with it. They're probably
100%.
Easter eggs like that.
Yeah.
This one and the whole trailer just gave me a very, very David Tennant feel. Like I saw a lot of David Tennant in his mannerisms, in the way he was dressed. I was like, okay, yeah, you're really leaning into that whole Doctor Who vibe.
I remember we made this comment about the last season as well. That very Doctor Who-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very almost manic energy, like vibe.
This trailer also added a bit of quantum leap in my view. As I was watching it, I had a quantum leap feeling as well.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Beckett used to go across different times, so yeah. And I like period pieces anyway. In stuff just generally, not necessarily like watching like what's that thing called, Pride and Prejudice, but when actors are out of their own, like when characters are out of their own time and they have to go back into the 50s or do something. I like stuff like that. So it looks like that's going to be happening a lot in this one. So what was your take on this trailer?
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like a Loki trailer is looking like the best thing Marvel is putting out in TV shows this year in a while. And I'm not sure if it's because the quality of what we've expected from Marvel has dropped so badly that this is standing out, or it's actually really good on its own merits. So there's that.
How many Marvel TV things have we had this year? TV
this year. Secret in Bleh.
One.
And Werewolf by Night was last year, right?
Yeah.
Last year. It was last year. I think October last year.
Was Moon Knight this year?
Invasion, then.
No,
Moon Knight was definitely last year.
She-Hulk was last year as well.
Yes.
I think She-Hulk was
in 2 years. In 2 years, then Miss Marvel was last year.
Yes.
We've only had SI this year.
Yeah. Okay. That means since the first 3 TV shows, that is WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and this one, Loki.
Yeah.
This one is looking like something that is really good. Like, this can be a serious Marvel project compared to the rest of the TV shows we've been getting since that moment.
Serious Marvel project. Interesting.
Like it looks good.
Yeah. So wait. No. I'm going to put it back here now, because so that means you did not like What If? Or what
animation?
I think he's leaving animation.
So are you saying that? So you're saying that Moon Knight wasn't good?
I don't like Moon Knight. I was very clear on my
He's
dislike for Moon Knight.
he's always said that. He's always said that.
I've always said that from the beginning.
You might not like it, but it's just you're saying it's not good.
From the beginning,
Okay.
I've always never liked that.
Did you watch Werewolf by Night?
I want to clarify.
No.
Is there a difference between you liking a show and the show being good?
Yeah, there's a difference. I think there's
a
a difference. But
Okay.
for today,
So are you saying you didn't like it and it was bad, or you didn't like it and it was okay? It was good.
I didn't like it because it was bad. It was filled with a lot of issues. But it's better than almost every other thing since then. So it's like, for Marvel, my judgment skill is already off because I generally am biased against Marvel TV products from the get-go. But then
I respect your honesty, Sha.
Yeah, but now we are getting to a level where these shows are actually terrible, and my usual hate does not satisfy. They've broken the scale for me already when I'm watching Marvel TV shows. So like, yeah. But I'll give the trailer one thing. It made me excited for Loki season 2 in a way that I didn't expect to be. Because now one of the biggest issues with season 1 was explaining the time logic and all of that. And we're expecting a serious explanation, but we got a timey-wimey this thing. Now we know we are going for the timey-wimey nonsense in Loki. So I'm fully on board with the characters and just enjoying Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston play off each other without any big cosmological implications of their actions, because Marvel is nonsense on that level. So yeah,
I think they should keep it out of the movies and keep it self-contained. Don't have any overarching impacts or ripples from whatever it is they're doing. Don't say, oh, this person that they fought here, then is going to appear in this movie. I think if they keep it that way, I'll prefer it personally. But if we're seeing Victor Timely, who knows?
I disagree. I think he can peek in without having impact. I think there's a scene in the trailer where he kind of time slips into a scene from his own show earlier, and you can see him time slip into the room, and you can see himself ahead of him. You can do that with almost any Marvel project. He can time slip, see what's going on, and then gets sucked back out.
Yeah.
It can be a little humor, a little fun. I think that adds to the quirkiness of the show and the fun of it. But don't put anything on its shoulders in terms of revealing anything, impacting anything, or adding to it.
Exactly.
I don't know. Isn't that exactly what I said?
Nope. You said they shouldn't have it. They shouldn't play the movies at all.
I don't want to get into semantics if you say so. That's fine. What did you think about the show, Jay?
The trailer. I liked it. I like the theme song for some reason. It's haunting. I like the hauntingness of it. I can see myself humming that over and over again. And I like the fact that they brought back these characters. It's got me curious. And that's more than I can say for some of the things I'm seeing right now from Marvel. But this has got me curious. It's got me interested. I like the fact that the characters, Owen Wilson's character is back. Loki, as always, is back. But I got to say, I do hope Loki doesn't end. I mean, since he's still alive in the show and everything, and I hope he doesn't just end up relegated to TV going forward. I hope somewhere down the line, this pays off with him re-emerging as Loki is wont to do, right, in the comics, in a way that is impactful to the future MCU storyline that they're telling. That's what I hope. But the trailer does make me hopeful that he's still relevant. They're still telling good stories with him, and the character continues to be entertaining.
I really hope not. Like, keep Loki in the TV show, in this Loki world. Don't have him pop up back in an impactful way in MCU again. He can cameo, like you mentioned earlier, but being an impactful character will just bring the old time travel logic that's going on here in a way that it will impact the real TV show. And I really don't want to see that. Marvel, Loki is already confusing enough as a part of the TV show that it's better to keep that world separate and let them do whatever nonsense they can think of there without tying it in. Because if I remember correctly, one of the biggest issues we had with it was explaining what was going on in Loki, with what happened in Endgame, and it was causing a lot of confusion for everybody. So bringing that back in any way, yeah.
But it makes sense to bring. He's the one character you can bring back when you're dealing with multiversal, multi-universal threats like Victor Timely, Kang, that whole dynamic. He's the one person you can bring back. He doesn't have to affect the main time stream. because they are going to be jumping from time stream to time stream, from universe to universe going forward. So you can bring him back. He can be impactful. He just may never encounter Thor in the way we know him and Thor to play off each other again. But I still think you can have some good stories told in the sense that he can in fact affect what's happening in some way.
Now, well, did you see this trailer?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, what was your take?
Well, I didn't like it. I'm being funny. Watching it, I was actually getting depressed. I'm quite surprised that Tunde is very positive about this. I think the Doctor Who feel just brought back memories of the last season, and I just have this feeling, and especially when I saw when I saw Wumi and I don't know why I keep calling her Sybil, Sylvia. I hate when shows do time jumps, like even Doctor Who does it sometimes, and they do the bare minimum in terms of the costume for that people fit it in, and it just look like somebody from My Modern Time wearing a weird old school clothes. It doesn't really look like they're blending in my view, and honestly, I have no hopes for this show at all. So, which might be the best way for me to go in, so that if it's half good, I might enjoy it. But at the moment, I was watching that, and I was shaking my head. I mean, well enough, I like the guy. I don't know. I can't remember what his name. The guy who's like the Q now. I guess it's the Q of TVA. Shot band or whatever you name you call him.
Shot around.
Yeah, shot around. He looks like. I mean, I like the guy. I like the actor, and I've seen a couple of things that he's in, so he's okay as a good actor. But overall, no, I'm not impressed. I really could care less about the show at the moment.
That is actually the best attitude to go with. No expectation. But the only thing is that I'm just one that if I see it, if I like it, my expectations go up. It is what it is.
There's another big fear. Another big fear I have, and I don't want it, but I actually think Jay is going to get his wish. I think this whole Loki can being in this tells me somehow this is going to impact secret. What's it called?
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars or Kang Dynasty, the saga, whatever.
Kang Dynasty saga, yeah.
I've just got this bad feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Why is that a bad feeling? I don't even understand you guys. We see Hunter B-15 and we see Renslayer, and my guy's like, oh, I see this. I'm getting Doctor Who vibes. Leave one show alone and analyze.
No, it's not the characters themselves.
It's the fact that show. I'll be honest. The fact that they went Doctor Who is an issue in a universe that was not set up with Doctor Who kind of rules. You see, when you're in a universe, you got set rules. That's fine. Doctor Who now, I'm a big time buff, but when I watch Doctor Who, I know time rules are out the window. There's no logic. It's timey-wimey, and we've accepted that premise. Loki is more timey-wimey. And now it's almost like, oh, you're not telling me, if forget all the rules I've told you in Avengers Endgame, we're just going to scatter everything. We're just going to scatter everything. It's kind of annoying, but I actually think that's what's going to happen. I think Jay's going to be right. I hope not, but I think that's what's going to happen.
But we've already established that there's some timey-wimey stuff as affecting things that kind of goes beyond the science. The science was established by, Iron Man and all that stuff. But look at what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. It ends with Venom still being in the MCU. There's timey-wimey stuff happening all the time.
Okay, so that to me that's not timey-wimey at all. That's just different universes.
So how is he there?
That's different universes.
That's not even there.
That's got nothing to do with time travel at all. He's moved from one universe to the. So to me, that's not a.
So we're talking universal stuff here.
No, I'm talking. No, I said timey-wimey on purpose. I'm talking about time travel. That's my biggest issue.
All right.
And Kang, and so, but for the show, I'm just gonna. I'm what I say. I'm not that invested. If I'm being honest.
All right. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I just want to see good storytelling, because that's the issue I think we've been having so far. You can have poor science and still have a great show with good storytelling. These guys
are expecting too much from Marvel, but go on.
And I'm just saying that you can mess up the science and tell a good story. You can also get the science right and have a crappy story. If you have both, that's awesome.
I mean, a
That's
great
the
story. I'll forgive almost anything. Let me be honest. I might bitch about some of the logic, but if the story is great, I can almost forgive most things. Another issue I have is I actually think Loki's getting all this thing simply by pure force of personality of the actor.
Yeah,
Not
but
mean-
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
but I mean,
You're right.
what
That's
else?
valid.
What else do you need? What else do you need?
No, the point I'm trying to make is I don't think they actually really have
Okay.
a story for him.
Ah,
But
Oh, got you. Understood. Okay, and that's fair. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's the same with. I genuinely believe it's the same with Chris Hemsworth. It's not like they were like, oh, this guy is so good. We have to write Ragnarok, and then after Ragnarok, we're going to do Gods and God of Thunder, whatever stupid, and then after that, we're going to do another one called, I don't know. Give me another classic thought. It's
But
not
the
that way. It's
original-
just he's someone who's a good actor for that
Yeah.
particular role. He's charismatic, and the people love him, and he enjoys doing it. So,
Yeah.
to be fair,
But they originally started doing that with the guy himself,
of course, RDJ.
Tony Stark, RDJ. He was the first person they started doing that for, writing him into movies he didn't need to be in, writing his character's actions into places it was never his character that did in the first place. But okay, they just figured out how to make use of him. So I see no reason why we can't enjoy the quality of this performer, right? Impacting storylines if you can actually tell a good story.
Not to get deep into Loki, but I think one of the major problems with Loki season 1 was that it wasn't done well. Writing him in felt very forced compared to any other thing. I mean, he basically just watched the TV show of his life and decided to become the character at the end of the show instead of at the beginning. So the storytelling there was problematic. Yeah,
in 2 hours. I think he watched a 2 hour
yeah.
film of his life.
And said, okay, yeah, I'm good now. But yeah, but I think now that we've gotten all of that behind us, now we can just focus on the relationship between Loki and Mobius and have them do whatever shit they get up to without all the baggage.
Can I ask a question? What did you think about how Sylvia looked in here?
I have no thoughts on the subject.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no idea.
She looks meh. Way more meh to me.
I mean, how was she supposed to look?
Well, I think she looked better in the first season. She just looked, that haircut or whatever she had on just looked. It just struck me. I just wondered if you guys felt the same way. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I was just hating.
I think it's
the fashion of the show is not catching my attention at all. Sorry.
Excuse me, my black ladies are looking fantastic, please.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Renslayer looked good.
Renslayer with a big gun.
Yeah,
I mean,
she looked good.
That was good.
Very.
The big gun was a fashion.
Very, very meh. Gaga or whatever her name is. Don't say that at all. All right. Okay. I think we've touched on this one for a bit.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next topic, which is the review for the recently released TMNT movie. That's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem. So this dropped here in the UK today. Jay, you've seen this. Tunde hasn't seen this yet. I don't know if that boy's even going to watch it.
Why not?
You're going to watch it? You can't shake your head. This is not a visual medium. It's audio.
I will be watching it.
Okay.
I will be. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, it's not dropped over here. That's why. So.
I will be seeing it again. But the reason I'll be seeing it again is because I saw it the first time in a press review release, basically early screening, and for fans and so on. And then my son wants to see it, so I'm going to take him to go see it. He's going to have a good time. I know he's going to enjoy it. It was a great story. Whoops.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Already we can already tell where you're leading. I just want to give people a bit of a background on this because I'm pretty sure some people either don't know turtles or don't care about turtles or don't even know that turtles
listens to us and doesn't know turtles. Like,
okay, I like the way you assume that everybody knows.
Yeah,
wrong, because you make an ass out of yourself. So it's not everyone that knows here.
That's not
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's not a problem for me.
That this is basically from comic books. So it was originally a comic book by Kevin Eastman, and I can't remember Perry Lard, Peter Lard, something like that.
Kevin Laird, yeah. Is it Kevin
No,
Laird or Peter Laird?
Peter Laird and
Okay.
Kevin Eastman. Yes, because when we were watching the cartoons, we'd always see at the end and stuff. So these were like big staple back in the 80s, right? In terms of teenage. Well, they used to call it Teenage Mutant Ninja Hero Turtles in the UK, and I think it was America that was really ninja. Sorry,
TV show.
Yeah, the TV show,
not the comic book. Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys had ninja. You guys were always like ninja, and for some reason here, ninja was like frowned upon, and you couldn't like use ninjas because kids were getting into trouble and stuff. So we'd use hero. But point being, yeah. So this kind of died down in the 90s, didn't it? And it kind of tapered out. We didn't hear a great deal about the Turtles, and then there was a TMNT movie back in 2006 or thereabouts, which was like CG. Very, very, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie, but apparently it didn't do well enough for a sequel. Then, of course, the Bay movies came out, the Michael Bay movies came out, and the sequel came out. People didn't really love them, but somehow they made enough money for them to greenlight a sequel. And now we have this, which is by Seth Rogen. I think Seth Rogen is one of the creative leads in this one. So the movie... And it shows, yeah, he's also one of the voices. And it's got a fantastic voice cast. It's got Maya Rudolph, it's got Seth Rogen, it's got Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, sorry. Cube. Yeah, you're right.
It's got Giancarlo Esposito as well. It's got Rose Byrne. It's got some really good names. So it is almost, and somebody mentioned this today, and the person said, look, so basically it's like Spider-Verse. And I was like, I don't want to keep attributing every animation, every innovative animation style to Spider-Verse. I just feel like at some point we need to.
You should.
Somebody would have. At some point somebody would have thought of something, and I'm not going to keep going. This person invented talking movies for the first time. We've moved on. So this is a different style. It's a nice animation style. It's different from what we see typically from DreamWorks and Pixar. I thought it was a nice short movie, and I really enjoyed this. Now, what I don't understand is, Jay, from your POV, do you think someone who's not a Turtles fan would enjoy this movie? I'm not a Turtles fan. Assuming I wasn't, and I just go in.
Yes, because there's two reasons why. First of all, it's a reinvention of their origin story. There are elements of it that are new, elements of it that are the same as before. But then the impact of what led to them is further reaching than just them. Like the impact of the spill, the accident, everything that created them, it's further reaching than just them, which I think is a great way to pivot away from what's known and create something fresh for old fans. But at the same time, the secondary part of it is the direction it goes and how certain characters are used totally differently from how we typically see them was great. Yes. So I will say this much now. Can I say this spoiler? I think I can probably say this spoiler.
No, don't spoil it.
You're fine. I'm not going to spoil it. But I just want to say something like a key character is not in it, right? And because this character is not in it, it's kind of like, okay, the story kind of breathes a little bit. Like you can go in a totally different direction. Actually, two key characters are not in it. And it's not like because those guys are not there, you're able to go in a totally different direction and tell a totally different story. Now, there's some people who might criticize certain things, the look and feel, and there's always going to be that issue of whether there's a woke agenda, and that whole conversation is going to start over again. But is it done?
Which part are you talking about? What's the woke agenda that you
casting? Race issues. That conversation will happen, bro. We can't stop it. It will happen.
Was somebody race changed?
A redhead was changed
from what people knew in the 90s.
A redhead. Your argument that was to redhead.
Also, an online debate about whether the character wasn't originally that race, or at least that race. So that conversation is ongoing. It's whatever. But it doesn't take away from the story. Not really. In a sense, it does.
I didn't see. Okay.
Let's put it this way. It's like
I think
imagine-
everyone knows. I genuinely think everyone knows it's April. We're talking
Yeah,
April,
as soon as you said it, I knew it was April. Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Yeah,
just say this.
it's in the
April
it's in the trailer.
so different in this movie from what we've known her to be in the past that it can be a little jarring for anybody who's a super April O'Neil fan, but it works in the context of this quirky show. It's movie. It works.
Yeah.
Right. This new characterization of her works. It's a funny character. She's also smart. She has her strengths. She has some weaknesses that make her a little bit more relatable.
She
which is
saves
something they
them
always try
at
to
some
do.
point. Yeah.
And I liked it. I thought it was really good. And I really think I will say this as a father of a daughter who on occasion has come to me about how she struggles with anxiety and putting herself in front of people in certain scenarios and taking bold steps. I can see her relating to that character in a way that I certainly couldn't. So for me, I'm like, yeah, you got to retell your stories for new audiences, new challenges, new situations. The world we live in is different. So I think they did well with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing more people watch it and give their feedback. As long as they can get out of their own way and stop getting hung up on the fact that it's not the same movie based on the same old characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a bit. No, I mean, there are people like that, and I think it would be very churlish for someone to be like, "Oh, April's not a white redhead. More rules for redheads." Look, I love redheads. I'm sure we all do. I mean, but it's New York, and if you're talking about a melting pot, or you're talking about a smorgasbord of different races, it makes sense for April to be, Puerto Rican or black or something, and in this context, like you said, it works, and she's of an age with them. Which even helps, to be honest, in the bonding experience. In that
Absolutely.
they're of teenage, still, high school kids. So even the way they go about meeting her and how she's like,
it has a certain quirky year one feel to it in terms of how the turtles are going about. And
absolutely.
You can see them making mistakes. You can see them struggling. That stuff was very good to see. I'm not lying. Watching it on screen was hilarious to see. They played it for laughs, but it also showed growth. You could see so many things there that made the characters a lot more relatable to the new target audience. Like, how do you tell a story for young people who are getting into this kind of animation and you want to capture this new batch of 12, 13, 14 to 16-year-olds? This is well done. Very well done.
Here's where I will here's what I will give Into the Spider-Verse some props for this. And Into the Spider-Verse is showing Miles coming into his own and recognizing his powers and putting on the costume for the first time and trying to swing and then losing his nerve and then running down and all those things like that. Similar stuff happens here where the Turtles have never actually fought anyone apart from themselves. Because they've been there, they're in the sewers. They've never actually gone out and said, this is the first time they become heroes. This is the first time they save people. This is the first time they actually engage in fisticuffs with people outside their family. And it shows they're like, oh my God, I've never, we have to fight these guys. I don't, they have the skills, they have the strength, they have the powers, but they've just never done it before. So you recognize that here. And it's something that in the sequel, which I hope, touch wood, we get a sequel. There was a post-credit scene. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully if we get a sequel, then we'll see more of some of the characters. There is in terms of the animation, I have no issues with it at all. I can't see how, and I like the way that they brought the whole mutants oozy vibe into it. And I know this sounds weird, but
a little bit of body horror to it.
Yes, that's probably the word I've been looking for. Yeah, there is a bit of that where the other mutants
kids today are into that. Like my daughter is like, hey, I want to go see it. And she's telling me she wants to go see a movie she wants to go see. And I'm like, this is horror. No, I'm not. No. And anyone who knows me knows I don't do horror. So I'm like,
yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Honestly, it was very Cronenberg-esque. In some things, there were some cyborgs with like metallic, and I was like, okay, all right. I felt a little uncomfortable, but I was like, okay, let's going with it because they are mutants. Like they're not all going to be perfect, bipedal, characters.
Looking,
some of them would be quite gross, to be honest. There was even a vomit scene.
Just go to a zoo and imagine those things humanized. Like, I mean, that's
Yes.
anybody
And
who's
then
been
when
to it knows they smell. So
And then when you combine several of them, how it looks, which happens here, I was like, oh my
Right.
God, this is very disgusting. So yeah, the action. There is a particular sequence where they go to the crime bosses, the different crime bosses, the
yeah,
Double Nick, Short
yeah,
Sally, da 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 da
yeah,
da,
yeah.
and they go bust these guys in their hideouts, and there's this action sequence where they're now confident in their abilities, and it's
Great
just
editing, by the way.
beautiful. It's the sequences are cutting, different action sequences are cutting into it's I can't
Yeah.
explain it. You need to watch it. It's so good. I think I want to watch that again because I missed so many things. It was happening so quickly. I missed so many things. I was like, oh man, I want to see this again. But the Turtles also, for what it's worth, they stick to their original characteristics. Leo is is the almost anxious leader.
Yeah.
Leo is like, he's a leader, but he's still quite unsure of his leadership skills, and he's still like daddy's pet kind of. He's always like telling dad, okay, dad, this is what we did, true, but don't tell anybody. Ralph is the rage animal, and there's several jokes to that effect. Like, maybe does this guy need therapy? Like, is this guy perhaps too angry? Donnie is the techie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you were saying?
No, so they played it very well.
Sorry,
they played that whole Leo angle very well. And the funny part is you can actually see them evolving into the characters we know. Like, it's like, okay, where was Leo at this stage in his career? Or it's like, at this stage in his life, where is Ralph? Is he angry? Yes, but he's not quite as angry as he could be yet. He's still Donnie is by far, he's the kid of the family. He's the quirky, which is odd. I always thought Mikey would be the kid, but you get the impression Donnie's the kid here.
Donnie's voice is less cracked than Mikey's voice in this one, which is weird.
His voice is not cracked, period.
Yeah, it sounds like I was like, okay, this guy sounds like he's 12.
Yeah. He's in fact, if I was to characterize him, he's a tween. Like, dude is a baby. That kind of stuff. But it works. That's what I'm saying. It kind of works. It lends itself to the awkwardness of his character. It lends itself to that.
Yeah.
Mikey is the cool dude, but even then, there's still a certain friendly boldness to him. Like, hey, what's up? That sort of feel. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed the way he presented voice performances.
No, I was just going to ask: Do we get any of the classics like cowabunga, pizza eating, any of those classics?
Yes.
You can't do
cowabunga.
No.
Cowabunga, no.
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to say Jackie Chan not even very well.
Amazing.
It was him.
Amazing.
I forgot that was Jackie Chan. The voice acting of Jackie Chan in this movie was really good.
Jackie plays.
He was given a lot to do as well.
So who does he play? Who does Jackie play?
He does drama. He does anger.
Yeah, that name always makes me laugh.
He did it so well. Like at the end of it, I had to be reminded. I'm like, wait, was that really Jackie Chan? Because that sounded too good. And then I'm like, oh my god, it really was him.
He was brilliant. Like, I've seen him do 2 voice characters. He was in Ninjago, which was like the Lego thing, and he was brilliant in that as well. And 3. The Kung Fu Panda, the series.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The monkey. Yeah. So I was like, man, this guy can really do this stuff. He was so funny.
He does. People underestimate him.
He was like, hey, don't say that. That's racist. And they played to his. Yeah, sorry.
I have a question about the movie, and you guys already allayed my fears because I was watching a reviewer, and he had a particularly big issue with it. So I had to confirm from you guys. Yes, the way the turtles learn how to fight. He apparently had a very big issue with that particular thing compared to the original sequence, and it was like a sticking point for him. Is that a problem in the storytelling?
Don't spoil me. Don't spoil, please.
Not spoiling it. It's effectively the same thing, but it's played in a way that because they took away a key component of Splinter's character, right? An aspect of his character. By taking that away, it makes the fact that they learn these skills a little bit like, really? Are you sure? You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't
But
really.
it's also tongue in cheek. It's also kind of funny. I
walked over it, but I can see why some people would be like, really?
offended.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 If it's tongue in cheek, that works for me fine. Yeah.
You know the way if you watch One Punch Man, the way One Punch
Nope.
Man says, "Oh, okay." So One Punch
Oh,
Man
I thought
basically
okay.
is the strongest man in the world.
No, I've watched
And the
One
way he
Punch Man. I
goes-
thought you meant One Piece, but continue.
Oh, the One Punch Man. And the way he did it was he was doing 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every day, and he just
Yeah.
did like it's stupid. But
It's
the
even
world
more
that you're
stupid
in,
when
you're
he
like,
tells
okay.
others in the show. He tells them, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is how I'm gonna cars. 100 push-ups, 100 push-ups. Do this every day." And they're like, "He's joking, right?" Like, he did it every day for less than 2 years. He's punching space threats,
And yeah, he can slap someone
space warriors,
next week.
slapping missiles out of the sky. Like
that's how I felt, you know. I'm like, I can see why the guy would be like, come on, you know, this is not Orokusaki now, you know, what's going on, you know. So fair enough. But watch it and just see what you feel about it. And yeah.
This is not
But
your big brother's Orokusaki.
even even the voice talent of Ice Cube as well, very, very good. I mean, Ice Cube is a good actor anyway, but voice actor,
Ice Cube is a
super brilliant.
fantastic
Brilliant.
actor. His voice acting here was really good, and they played off the fact that it was him in some of the
Yes,
gags
yes.
and jokes in ways that if you know him, you're like, oh my God,
You know, he had the Jerry curl at the
yeah,
back of his head, like.
yep. He
All
had
right.
the whole thing, man. Like
The
I was
vibe,
like,
the whole NWA vibe, like,
Yep.
yeah, you're my family, you're my no,
Yeah.
don't call me cuz.
Superfly is a great
Yeah,
new
it's
character.
good.
I'll just say that it was a great new character to introduce to us.
Okay.
I enjoyed myself. Having said that, I don't know if people who are not in tune with the TMNT vibe will like it. But yeah, I mean, Jay, do you have any last comments? Because I don't want to. These guys haven't seen it. I don't want to go into spoiler
My
territory.
last comments
go
are:
into
like
stars.
animation and you're a TMNT fan, give it a chance. A lot of TMNT purists will look at this and find a lot of reasons to have fault. I think actually, on the contrary, I'm a little opposite to you on this. I think that this movie, has a greater chance to bring in those who don't originally know the TMNT than those who did. But it works for both audiences if they give it a chance. Having said that, it was a great movie, it was a great story. It had the same heart and feel of the originals. And it also had a lot of jokes, humor, tongue in cheek. The action was great. And I will continue to give credit to Spider-Verse for allowing artists to be freer in how they would express things on screen in animation. And you see the impact, the legacy of that, the success of that movie continuing to show up in things like this. So go see it. That's my recommendation.
Any stars out of 5? Out of 5 stars?
Ooh, stars out of 5. Stars out of 5. Stars out of 5. I want to say 3, but I want to go higher than that. 3.5. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
yeah.
fair.
I'm gonna give this a 3.8. Yeah. Just because I
this
think
is the
just
problem with the 0.8 point system in a out of 5 thing. You really can't go 0.8. Dude, let's be real.
I
Is that
literally
half
just
a
did.
star or a full star?
Well, 3.85.
Just say 4.
So yeah, go watch it, guys. Yes, go watch it and let us know what you think. Okay. Right. So moving on
the
to
good
that
news is
favorite
over.
show.
Yeah,
Yes, that
finished.
was show. Do you want to talk us through the finale of Marvel's Secret Invasion?
Do I really have to?
Do I really
have to?
Yes, you have to.
Well, this was the finale of Secret Invasion.
Can I say something before you start? I'm going to start by saying I did not hate this episode, and a lot of people appear to, and I didn't. So I'm just going to say that I'll put that out there and be quiet while you guys roast it. So that won't.
Okay, I'm going to put it out there as well. I told you also. Let's continue.
Right. And in a way, okay, so let me just give a summary. And to me, it's very easy to sum up this episode. This is this was meant to be the great confrontation between Graphic and Nick Fury, which instantly I knew was not. That's how they set it up to start off with. That Fury's now going to meet Graphic and they're going to discuss, have it out. He's going to hand over the harvest and use that as a leverage to save innocent Skrulls and human beings. It was a feint. It was not him. It was Gaia, which I kind of guessed, like literally before he even walked into the compound. Now, the things that really annoy me about this show, and it starts from this very opening scene, and I'll try to explain it calmly because I'm actually getting angry. The logic, they will put down the logic, and then they will kind of go against that logic. The idea was, Gary said, "Come to me, bring the harvest, and I will save this, and I will allow the humans and Skrulls to survive." That was the whole arrangement, the whole logic. Then why do you need to shoot the guards? Why did you need to do this whole car rolling in fire? What? It's those little things that when you see on screen, initially you think, "Oh, very clever." Hang on, no, there was no need for that. He's waiting for you. He's expected. Just open the gate and let him in. So it's and it goes back to what I've said a few episodes about. It's like someone has this great idea. Someone said, "All right, this is a great idea. I'm giving you the highlights. You fill out the details." And then these idiots want to hire some kindergarten people or somebody who's on $300, which probably they are on anyway. To write the details, and it's things like this that they repeat themselves. It's the details, and it's not even details that are things that you can overlook. It almost slaps you in the face. So Gaia goes to meet Graphic. I don't even understand how they knew. Well, you can't know that Graphic's going to empower both of them at the same time. The whole thing is predicated on certain things being done by Graphic. That doesn't make no sense to me at all. And you've left the fate of the world down to one person fighting against another person, where there's no belief that person should have the upper hand on that person because, one, he's been empowered a lot earlier. So in my view, should have more experience. Fine, but still, even if they're both equally matched, I'm not in the fate of Earth on a 50-50 roll of the dice. Anyway, they go and meet. Gaia goes to meet Graphic. At the same time, Fury is trying to talk the president down against doing anything rash. And Rhodey, the Skrull Rhodey, is trying to hype up the president to do something rash.
So this
go on.
The way this rogue Rhodey just talks sometimes, I'm like,
totally,
like,
again, stupid, very stupid.
Like,
it's almost like it's almost like saying, "Oh, I'm a Skrull. I'm a Skrull. I'm going to talk anyhow."
Yeah, like that's the same thing that happened when he welcomed the president at the tarmac to England, and he was like, "Hey, president, we have to do this, get these guys here like this." That's what I'm saying, my G. And the president is like, "Have you been drinking?"
Yeah.
And that's genuinely how I would expect the president to talk. Like, are you? Oh no, I know.
He was drinking.
He said that to say, no. It wasn't the alcohol. It was the way you are speaking. He's like, so you don't use. He's just too casual. Like, Mr. President, I've got this thing on lockdown. I say we blast these guys. Hey, you are the admiral. Like, the admiral is coming and saying, look, let's exercise some caution because this could be a false flag operation, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, the president told you to do this. Yo, my G, go and do what I'm like, it's just so...
Yeah, he was...
I don't know. It was playing it too much.
So he was probably the worst undercover agent.
Yes.
He's so out of character, out of pocket. The things he did, the things he said made no sense.
Right. Can I ask a question? Come on. Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Right. Can somebody remind me? I know the answer to this. Can somebody remind me Rhodey's rank or role in the
Colonel.
US government?
Colonel.
And what was he? He's an advisor to the president.
Yeah.
Special advisor.
Like a special advisor, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the president's thinking of going to war with Russia, and the only people he's talking to is Rhodey and some general. Where's the whole defense secretary?
Admiral, yeah.
Where's everybody else?
Where's the situation?
Budget constraints, my man. You couldn't
It's a simple TV screen.
budget constraints. You couldn't have the entire. You couldn't have everybody. Look at where they took the president to as far as the hospital. I was looking at that place like this is where they took the U.S. president to.
Yeah,
it looks like some warehouse somewhere.
Road should not be in any position to be even giving that kind of advice to the president at all.
Should not be in the road.
Exactly.
Hold up. It's been established that Colonel Rhodes had since Iron Man 2. He's leaped Iron Man 3. He's leaped way over and beyond his standing, his military rank in the U.S. government. That's been established.
Yeah, but a colonel, regardless of whether
his rank was irrelevant. It's like
never speak to an admiral that way. Never speak to an admiral that way. No, I can't agree.
What is Fury's rank?
He would never speak to an admiral.
What is Fury's rank?
Why we talking about rank? He's an advisor.
Fury is heading the world security in space.
Yes, I know that. What is his rank?
I don't know.
Colonel Nick Fury. His rank is Colonel since he's
but which is why I say don't talk about rank. Talk about role.
Yes, his role in the U.S. government has been established as being he's like the liaison to the superheroes.
Yeah, liaison. So why is he talking about military going to war? Where's the defense secretary?
Listen, the only people that Rhodey has played second fiddle to in the MCU, right, is the Avengers. Everybody else he bosses over.
Yeah, because he's a liaison. Remember,
I'm saying in terms of his role in the U.S. government, it's been established that his role is one where he doesn't have a title like Fury, but he has the same level of influence.
Okay, let's put it like this, Dapo. Let's agree that he's the most important advisor in the world in U.S. government. Still, this scene is still dumb.
I don't agree that. I don't agree that.
It's like him and just the admiral.
I agree the scene was wrong. I'm simply pointing out that talking about how he's talking to this person, I can let that slide in a sense, but it was just at this point you could see that the stakes were high for the Skrulls. He was trying to execute whatever it is, and he's messing it up. He's giving away the fact that he's a Skrull at this point, which is why I didn't understand why the president wasn't already suspicious of him. And another thing I didn't like, why is it that when they had them all that stalemate, just shoot Rhodey? The whole long talk was taking too long. This woman had a gun to Rhodey's head. Shoot him.
Again, this is writers. In one scene earlier in an episode, Sonia did that exact thing, shot somebody in the leg, and said, look, why you could not repeat that same scenario?
Thank you.
There and then. Again, it's the little details.
There's so many
things that you establish yourself as a logic. And okay, I'm going to actually apologize to Kekes on this because I didn't want to say this, but I have to be honest with myself. I said something in episode 2 about a scene in episode 2, which I felt I was justified afterwards. I now take back what I said, and I think in the long run, when I look at the show, it's still stupid. If Rhodey, so I said that Nick Fury had worked out that Rhodey was a Skrull because and was testing him with that language, that discussion. But now you've established later to me that you've had Rhodey as a hostage for very long. I'm putting air quotes there, for very long. I don't know how long. You have access to his memories, and I'm guessing you've been doing your homework on your memories. Now, if you were a decent spy and you've done your decent homework, you should have known the cadence of your conversations with Nick Fury, and should have not. I think I'm going too deep into this. This is my problem.
No, it's me you should apologize to first of all, not Kekes. Please, let's get our facts straight.
That apology, take it, polish it, and give it to Tunde. Let him
Better. Because I was telling people so you were attacking me unnecessarily anyhow when I was saying that entire scene did not make sense.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. But the fact that you've now told me that these scrolls actually have access to the memories of the guy that caught, then means they should know how to speak to each other. And one of the first persons you would want to understand how he speaks to would be Fury would be the first person you study. You go to Rhodey's memories of every time he had a discussion with Rhodey and study that. And hence, you should not fail for that unless you took over Rhodey 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
I have a question.
Which they keep on trailing. Oh, you've been here for they keep on hammering home. You've been here for a long time.
I have a question.
Oh god, here we go. I feel like I can guess where this is going.
If you go to episode 1, if Gravik had grabbed Fury at the square, the Trafalgar Square in Russia,
Yep,
and taken Fury back to the compound, and they had read his memory, they would know where the harvest was, wouldn't they?
Yes. Bro, plot holes abound.
Okay.
See,
it's just
That's
a
right.
memory
So-
reading thing that you
so
said now that I'm just
In
like
Marvel comics, you could say that people like Fury, they had all these blockers and mental blockers
Okay.
against mind reading. You could say that, but none of that is established in the MCU. None of that is established in the MCU. You already said you can take over somebody by knowing his entire memory. Look, this show, I said this episode 1. Okay, episode 2, I started feeling bad. Episode 3, I'm like, oh my god. By 4, I'm like, I'm just here to complete this at this point because I'm not feeling like this is going to land. I'm not going to stick the landing, and the storytelling doesn't make sense. I had issues with the idea that how are you going to tell me that you couldn't find a place for these people? How are you going to tell me that you couldn't find a land for them to live, a planet, a world, whatever you're going to call it? Put them on Earth. They'll deal with discrimination. Okay, but it's still something that would have happened. Okay, that couldn't happen. Put them on another planet. There are planets abounding. People are literally spending time right now finding planets that they could have put them on to exist. Whether it's the planet that Star-Lord found the Infinity Stone on, or the planet that Thanos retreated to. There's so many places. Tell me that Danvers didn't find them a place to stay. Why wasn't Danvers in this show anyway, as a lead into the Marvels? There's so much wrong here. This whole idea of, we got to solve this problem our way, and then you end it with a superpower battle. God have mercy, man. Like I was just watching this thing thinking, I think Marvel has forgotten how to tell its own stories. I'm not even gonna lie. That's how I felt. Like this is just no.
it was bad.
that they couldn't find a home in 15 years is a bit ridiculous.
It's a lie.
You couldn't find somewhere large enough for a million scrolls in 15 years.
I was
talking about this earlier. Dapo said if they went the route and just said straight up, make Fury a bastard and say that Fury just chose not to find them a place because there was too many advantages to using this small group, and then he finds out that this small group invited 1 million of their friends over. Whoops, that makes sense. You can work with that story. Now Fury has to go against the Skrulls. Now turn the Skrulls to the actual baddies they were from the beginning. This whole sympathetic Skrull stuff was a problem to me from the beginning anyway.
Yeah. I think also, I can't believe I'm about to make an excuse for this show, but part of the reason why they couldn't find a home was because of the ongoing war with what's it called?
The Kree.
Yeah.
The
so
same
it was at the end.
Carol Danvers ends all their ships. She solos their ships in 2 minutes.
Basically. So
Really?
I mean, it's a large empire. Let's go.
The same
Let's
Kree
go
that
with
ends. They ended with Carol Danvers saying straight up, "I'm going to come and end what they call that their mind, the hive mind. I'm going to come and end you."
Unless it does a genocide on the Kree, there's no way she's going to stop the Kree from doing what an empire does, basically. And so, Fury basically said,
today I agree with what you just said, but then that should have been the conversation. The conversation should have been, right, we've got this planet, we could put you on there, but we can't protect it. So they should have. So that should have been the excuse back from Talos. I said, listen, it's not that there's no planet. We found some planets, but they're too near the Kree Empire, or come up with something like that. Make it more logical. Oh no, we've not found a planet yet. You showed us 2 or 3 planets that we know for a fact that are empty and got farmland. Yeah. One has already got some farm being planted by Thanos. You can use that one.
I've gotten to my limit of defending this show. That's how
I'm even shocked.
like,
Should I applaud you? I'm surprised.
yes, please. I'm showing a lot of
Because
restraint
it made
here.
no sense, man. Like you can't establish certain parameters and then ignore them for the sake of convenience.
Can I make you laugh?
Oh, please. I need a laugh now.
You know when Gaia pretending to be Nick Fury and she was walking towards the where that device was, and she was acting sick, taking the pills. Who was all that sabotage for? The viewers only.
The viewers.
No, for him.
No, he was inside. That was just for us.
Wait, hold up. Who was all the subterfuge for? What? I don't understand what you're saying.
When she was walking through the gates after she killed those people, and she was still pretending to be ill, and she was walking all the literally.
You know what? Let's just say maybe there were cameras there.
She was doing that because you don't know. She doesn't. No, wait, hold up. She doesn't know who's watching her.
The viewers.
She's being surveilled. Yeah. My issue with that whole scene was there's no reason for her to kill the soldiers. It was a random death for no reason. The same rules apply. Why didn't you kill the soldier? Why didn't Fury kill the soldiers surrounding the president? No need. They're his people. He's trying to be the good guy. Why are you killing? You guys are already an endangered species. Why is she killing Skrulls? There's no reason to kill the Skrulls. And then tell me you're going to turn around to the same Skrulls and say, I'm fighting for you, but I killed any of you that stood in my way. You're as bad as the other guy.
Oh, question. During the fight scene, where they were using a variety of powers, there's one power I spotted that I didn't recognize.
Which one?
And I thought, it almost looked like a teleport. I don't think it was a teleport. It's almost like it shimmered from one. What was it?
I think it was a phase. I think it was Vision.
What power was that?
Ghost.
Oh, was it?
Wait, let me ask you a question. Wait. Let me ask you a question. Sorry. You said Ghost.
Yeah.
But Ghost uses technology now.
It's not about
no.
It's her actual body. She uses it to contain herself.
Yeah, to control it.
Oh,
that's a natural.
Was Ghost at the fight?
Nope, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
She was on
so
the
maybe
list
this is
of
just
the
her DNA.
This is just the DNA that he has collected over time.
Yeah. Because actually, in the scene of when they were showing the list of powers in the DNA,
they show her name.
Mentioned there.
Okay,
so it must have been Ghost. Okay. For some reason, Vision came to my mind. Sorry.
I did not get it. I watched it 2 times. Whose is that? Okay, fine. Good shout. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, this particular episode, there's a lot of problems with it, like scene by scene, structure, theme, and all of that. Even the idea of making Gaia the most powerful human person that ever lives in the Marvel universe is kind of dumb, but okay.
I don't think she is personally, but carry on.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I agree with you. I don't think made a point that Skrulls have the powers of others, but not at the same level. Meaning, Carol Danvers is still
Carol will destroy Carol will finish her father's life. I don't think it's to the extent at all. Sorry, just to interrupt.
No, we've cut it.
You've settled that. Yeah, that's it. Like, okay. But sorry. It's what's this thing called? The only scene in that made sense to me was the discussion between Fury and Gaia now and Gravik. Why didn't Fury help when Gaia was saying, "Oh, I stopped looking after a couple of years and just decided to use you guys on and on," and it's immediately undercut by turning her to Gaia, because now it doesn't really make much sense to me that Gaia will know that information and will be able to share it. So it's like she's just talking out of her ass. And so you've already undercut one of your most powerful scenes in the episode by talking about the relationship between Fury and what's his name? Gravik.
So you just have to assume now that Gaia was just lying.
Yeah, that was the most significant emotional bits of the entire episode. That's how bad this show is. That's the most significant thing.
I was gonna say it kind of left.
Wait, I don't understand. She was lying. Where was she lying?
Gaia was talking. She pretended to be Nick Fury, and Gravik and Fury were having this heart-to-heart, But in the end, because it's not Fury in reality, that means whatever she was saying, was just just
But that's
BS.
bullshit. Yeah.
So it kind of I see what today's saying is you might think, oh, this is a great scene between these two guys explaining why they came to this where they are now. But the fact that it's Gaia kind of means, well, no, actually, that was just play acting, and they didn't have Fury and Graphic never had it out. They never actually had it out.
Can I be honest? That whole Fury sequence from when he rolled up the Volvo to when he got to Graphic, I did not like it at all because I still thought it was Fury, but I was like,
okay.
Isn't that Samuel L. Jackson cannot act? Like, he will stop with you know the way in Hollywood where someone's coughing, this person goes to die.
Yeah.
And then he'll just, and then he'll I was like, this guy's hamming it up, man. Is it like SLJ cannot act or what's going on? So I don't know. I just wanted to just say that. I didn't like that whole dying old man walk that he was doing. That I
didn't like the whole dying old man theme they kept running with about Fury from the whole show. Like the entire show, Fury's no longer the same. Oh, since you came back. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Dude blinked in and out. For him, it was like literally a second. It wasn't like he was gone and he had an existential 5 years. He was gone. He just came back and the world has changed. That's it. He's the same guy. He has to adjust to a new world. But how has he changed? He hasn't changed. Then you're not going to end up telling us Fury has a wife all this time. Oh, amazing. Oh, God damn it. She's a Skrull. What? Fury had a wife the whole time and it was a Skrull?
Yeah.
Then you end it with, sorry, let me quote Wale. You end it with a vomit-inducing sharp kiss of a sharp-toothed, scaly green, shape-shifting lizard alien.
Yeah. Honestly, I did not buy that at all.
I didn't buy it for 1 second. If you told me he was playing her because it was part of their whatever, I would even say, okay, maybe. But come on. Since God knows when.
You didn't see their declaration of love when they shot at each other. And
I saw it and I just started laughing.
It's not a beautiful declaration.
Right, guys.
I saw it and started laughing.
We have to discuss here. When was Rhodes taking over? Essays, theories. What do each of you think the time point was?
The director says after Civil War, after I had the accident.
Yeah, we know that. They made that very clear because he's got the
Today talking like you're breaking news.
No, I'm saying that because that's his story.
Yeah, but how far? Okay. Let me rephrase the question.
It's like in the Spider-Man movies where they said, what was that year they gave that was so wrong?
Endgame. Was Endgame a scroll? I have my opinions, but let's take it from the next appearance of Rhodey.
For me, I'm going to think because
I mean, if we go with the director, he is.
But I'm going to ignore the director here because the director is not.
The director didn't say Endgame. He said
after Civil War.
It was after Civil War. Yeah, that could have been after Endgame as well.
Really?
No, it's true. Yeah.
Really?
If it's after Endgame, you'll say after Endgame.
No, it could have. No. Honestly. Wait. One second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I agree, but really,
I completely understand what that boy is saying. So
I know.
Challenges.
No, he's saying Endgame is after Civil War.
What the director's saying? What the director's saying?
After Endgame.
The director's saying is the only evidence I'm giving to you now is 100% was definitely after Civil War,
which means it could have been after Endgame.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying it could not have been anything earlier. That the earliest it could have been, a lot of people are saying, is the TV series.
Actually, yeah, the earliest it could have been is the TV. If we are going by logic, I'm assuming the director is ignoring all logic to say all this nonsense. Because in Endgame, he was using braces.
Yes.
You could see his legs were in braces and all of that in the movie.
I've not got an issue with that, if I'm being honest.
You could pretend.
Yeah, you could pretend.
Yeah.
I'm not really got an issue with him having braces. But then there's also a lot of interaction.
Okay, so
go on.
I want to say it was after Endgame. The reason why I'm choosing to say it was after Endgame because it would have been easier after Endgame to say, I've healed significantly enough to not use the braces again, which he didn't use in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I would feel really bad for Rhodey to come back. He used the braces in
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
He wore a dress uniform in Falcon.
Yeah, but it was glowing.
1 second, guys.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. 1 second, guys. I've seen people online. People are really all broken up about the fact that Rhodey never got. If it really happened after Civil War, that means he never got to see his friend. He never.
That's what I want to say. I would.
That is exactly what happens in Secret Invasion in the comics.
Yeah,
A lot of these characters come back and they've missed significant moments in their lives and in the Marvel Comics universe. It's something that happened. So that's what adds to the power of the Skrull invasion. The fact that you literally, the betrayals that happened, you weren't even part of it. The fights that happened, you weren't even part of it. Those who got divorced, you came back and you're now divorced. Are you kidding me? When did we get divorced? Well, you did this. It wasn't me. Well, all of that happened and it makes sense.
yes.
So I don't have a problem with it being after Civil War at all, personally. If you say after Civil War, okay, it's after Civil War.
No, I don't.
Wait.
As long as you don't gloss over it going forward.
I actually don't have a problem with it, but what I'm saying is, I know they've left it open because I know they're not sure if somebody's going to come out, some eagle-eyed guy could come out with, but this happened, hence it couldn't be, which is why they kind of played it safe. But having said that, one key for me that also points more that it was immediately after Civil War rather than much later is the fact that he's in a hospital.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Hospital
Gown,
yeah. But then people online saying, well, he's probably going back to the hospital on a regular basis to get checked. So again, they could move that to any time T.
Number one, the easiest place to capture him would be in the hospital anyway.
Yeah. But I think somebody also said that him being a Skrull, at least in Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier makes sense more because you only see him for like, and it doesn't remove because there's a scene with him and Tony in Endgame.
Yeah,
there's an emotional moment. So people then were arguing about that, but then
what happened? What happened there? Do you remember?
Where Tony dies.
Yeah. Rhodey's part
he comes up to him, he looks him in the eye, and he gives that smile as if, my man, rest easy, soldier. You did well. A Skrull could have done that.
I would feel, I would feel bad if he comes out after. And it's like,
I hope it's that.
All the better. You're supposed to feel bad. That's the whole point of this.
Jay,
you are talking about comic book Skrull. You can't compare that with what we have here, man.
If somebody impersonated you and stole your life, that's why the impact has meaning.
Jay,
all right.
If this TV show was a good story, and we all enjoyed it,
exactly.
I agree that. Wait, hold up. I agree that it feels one kind to give that kind of power to the show. Because you don't want to validate the show. But I'm sorry, fellas, that's Secret Invasion.
And one more thing, Marvel ignored the blip of 5 years. Do you think they'll carry over this kind of thing that happened in Secret Invasion of all shoes into any other thing? It's going to affect any other thing.
I sure don't trust them to do it. But hey.
So today, the end of this episode is a big deal in my mind.
It's not.
No, in my mind, it's meant to be a big deal. You've basically declared war on 1 million Skrulls hiding, and people are going. So you've shown already that there's now human on Skrull violence, human on human by mistake violence, Skrull on Skrull violence. You can't. If we don't see this again, and nothing is mentioned again, I will be really, 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 really more annoyed.
We did the blip of 5 years. And it's mentioned in passing. Do you think this conflict will be spread under the rug completely?
No, wait. The blip has to be mentioned quite more often than you. I know, not as much as we wanted it to, but we've had shows that mention the blip. We've had it in what's that one where they all came back?
I mean, come on, just almost every show has mentioned the blip.
Yes.
What we haven't had is a show dedicated to it.
Yes.
Breaking down the impact. Truly,
Winter
Soldier is the only one that kind of did.
That did it very well. In my mind, and also WandaVision.
Yeah, unless there's a TV show or a movie or a season 2 of this thing that talks about those Skrulls, because I don't see any of their upcoming projects.
Boy, Skrulls already.
No, sorry, I don't see any.
Wait, bro. We've been seeing the Skrulls already. Like we've seen the Skrulls in WandaVision. We've seen the Skrulls in different places appear. All you have to do is
in WandaVision.
It doesn't look. They're
Yeah.
present.
The ending of WandaVision.
Yeah.
There was a scroll there.
Their whole
Where?
doesn't have to have much impact.
They were the ones that took Rambo to
Yeah.
Saber.
I'm saying that the impact, what Dapo is talking about, the whole human on
Oh.
scroll, President War declared. I'm
You
saying that's
can
going to
do
be.
that. Yeah, you can. You can have
You
soldiers at
can,
war.
but Marvel is not going to do that in any other project they're doing. I mean, all their
It
projects
should be Marvels. They have to mention it in Marvels. They
Okay.
have to. If they
Okay.
don't, it's a big fail.
They won't. They won't.
Yeah, but no. To Tunde's point, I get what you're saying, and that when you say they will mention it, but that's the thing. It has.
No, I said they
it
have
shouldn't
to.
be a. Yeah, no. It shouldn't be a mention. It should be.
Oh
the
yeah.
core
Proper,
premise of something that we.
Yeah, I agree.
So I get.
Let me say
Yeah,
this.
they will probably mention it, but I don't know how far.
If they don't
they'll
mention
go
it, then
with
why
this.
the hell did they end with this human on scroll suspicion
Season 2. They're hoping for season 2 to continue this
SI?
wonderful.
of season in Secret Invasion? Once
you
you
know
reveal that, there's no season 2 now.
I want to show. I don't
God.
want Secret Invasion season 2. I want it's a new season of Sonya and Gaia. Forget everybody else. That's what I want.
Season 2. Because
Forget everybody.
honestly, this show
And what you gotta be doing?
Gaia is a new prodigy, the new super powerful scroll with all the powers in the world that can do everything.
Right. So what are they going to do about Gaia now? Is she going to turn up in the movies? What do we think?
Nah.
She
Yes,
should.
sir.
I mean, first
Nope.
of all, the actress has the star power to turn up the
exactly.
movies.
Yeah, I got a feeling.
There's no reason why she shouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, if you can bring Little Miss Marvel into the movies, you can sure as shit bring the Mother of Dragons into Marvel movies.
What movie?
Yeah,
That's a good question, though.
That's
the thing you can
the
answer.
biggest problem. If she's not part of Marvels, what next? Fantastic Four? I don't know where she fits
Nobody
in next.
can. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It would be a
Fantastic Four would
fantastic
be a good
storyline.
shout. Fantastic Four would be a good shout.
Sorry, so what did you say?
No, I'm saying that's why even the entire storyline, it's not going to fall. The movies are all going to discard it going forward. Everything going to happen forward.
I'll be very honest.
Yeah, and it's good.
I'll be very honest. I don't mind TV stuff staying in TV. It's the same thing I said about Moon Knight. I don't mind having this self-contained. I don't need it to have wider. But in this case, this is such a big thing.
Yeah, they've done it. Yes,
that you can't ignore it. It's just too big.
Okay.
Now, no. Wait, I'm not talking about Gaia. I'm talking about the implication of scrolls.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we're talking about the same studio that gave us a whole Eternal sticking out of the planet, and it hasn't shown up anywhere else. No one flew over it.
Mentioned.
Nobody went to investigate it.
It actually has been mentioned.
Where?
No, I said it was not mentioned. I said it didn't show up anywhere else. Nobody flew over it. Nobody went to study it. They didn't tell me that, what's his name, Mr. Not Wearing Pants, went to go check it out to study. The guy went to study Stonehenge. He didn't go study. He didn't go study this thing. I'm like, look, Marvel has a lot of gaps in its cohesion right now, and I hope they figure out how to fix it. One way to fix it is to cut back. Definitely, they need to be looking at cutting back, trimming shows, which I think they're doing. But then they've got bigger fish to fry now with all the strikes and writer strikes, and I don't even know what's going on with all that. So
if you're cutting back shows and it's still at this quality, I don't know what to tell you, because the problem of this show is not.
Yeah, go on.
They had a budget of 200 million, for goodness sakes. 200 million.
But I told you earlier,
this particular show.
How much did they pay the writers? What writers did they hire?
It doesn't matter. They gave you 200 million.
No, it matters. No, sorry. If no matter how much money you spend, if you've hired bad writers, you get a bad show. It's simple as that. The writing.
This script was approved by.
Okay, so I think we need to let Feige take some of the blows here. Because even the director is like, oh, the finale, Kevin's like, yeah, I want to have the Skrulls fighting. He's the one who said this is how we're going to do the finale. So once he says that, then of course, the writers have to write around his desires. The Marvel method. So this is what we saw. So this is all on Feige.
I do think there's I don't want to say there's a lack of writers. There's a lack of good writers that Disney are hiring, or maybe not giving them enough time. But whatever is the product, the writing product is just subpar.
Yeah, but man, I'm so with you. With in terms of the writing outputs, and
Yes.
I think to be honest, they are also, and this is one thing that worries me, and I don't know how to explain it. They're giving a lot of writers leeway to write stuff.
Yep.
So they'll bring comedy writers. They'll bring this person that's done this thing, this person that stuff that doesn't necessarily mesh with what they're trying to do. But at the same time, they're allowing different expressions within that universe. That's why we would get She-Hulk or Miss Marvel
Yep.
or Moon Knights from the Muhammad, whatever his name is. So I get it. Even the guy, I think the guy that's doing Armor Wars, we talked about it a while back.
Yeah.
The guy is a comedy writer / actor, and I'm like, for Armor Wars, is this what we really want? So they are bringing a lot of different talent, but I don't know if the quality for this universe
It's
is
not
there.
quality,
for the
and a
other
lot
TV
of stuff
shows.
is being done after they should have done it. Why are you doing Armor Wars with? I never got the idea of doing Armor Wars without freaking Tony Stark. Like, it was like, why are you doing this now? It's kind of like when they did Black Widow. Should have done it years ago. Armor Wars, should have done that years ago. Why are you doing this now? There's so much that's wrong with the way they're even thinking of arranging this thing. Secret Invasion is like a 5-movie arc on a good day.
You can't.
You could have
they can't.
let's not
They
go there.
can't
You could
do
have
that.
done Secret Invasion in this 6 episodes,
I
and it
agree
should
with
have
you.
come out really,
But
really
sorry,
good.
today you wanted to say something.
I
You wanted to say
agree,
something? Go on.
but I'm saying
Yeah, I said
on
something
the
earlier.
picture.
Yeah, about the expressions, multiple expressions you mentioned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember before the start of all this was something I used to praise DC for, and attack Marvel a bit that they're always forcing a particular kind of storytelling, particular kind of brand, whereas DC gives their what's this thing called, directors and writers freedom to swing and miss. That's why we'll have things like the Suicide Squad on one hand, and you have the what's this stupid Birds of Prey on the other hand. Yeah, freedom to do whatever they are doing. One is completely nonsense.
Yes.
One is really good. For Marvel, even the ones that have missed for me, I still respect them for trying. Things like She-Hulk, they're going for something. Miss Marvel, they're going for a specific, different genre of these things. It was a swing. Some of it missed. Some of it was bad, but you could respect that they're putting in the effort of going for this particular direction. With Secret Invasion, this is Marvel's wheelhouse. This is one of the most, it's one of the easiest wins. I remember in the weeks leading up to this particular show, we were so convinced it was going to be good. Like, they're not going out of what they are known for to be good for. This is a standard, straight up story that Marvel has done and has done well before with Civil War, with Winter Soldier. And then we come here and we get, this is, I think for me, this is one of the most amateurish writing we've gotten out of a TV show.
I don't
From
disagree
Marvel.
with you. I swear, I don't disagree with you. But
Can-
today, honestly, writing a good espionage thriller is not easy.
Right. Can I give a theory here?
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like the good quality ones. Sorry, Dapo. Yeah, go on.
No, and sorry, my theory is trying to address what you're saying, Kekes, and what also they're saying. And I might get cancelled. I'm always trying to get myself cancelled every time. I think there's a problem where people are not, I'm guessing, not enabled to criticize other people's work, like a head writer. Where's what I call it? If I take a phrase from my sphere of work, where's the peer reviews? Who's doing the peer reviews? Because you're right. When I'm writing something, it's true. When you write something, you have a blind spot, and you can write something that you think looks good, but it's natural. But that's why you have peer review to give to somebody else, and then they can question, why is this guy doing that when you've said this is the reason? Crap. I think that's missing. I think there's this whole don't criticize people. Let's tread lightly. That's great. That's a brilliant scene. God, this scene is stupid now. What are you doing? Who's making those kind of statements? I guess it's what I'm trying to say. Does it happen?
Actually, Dapo, you made a really good point, because a lot of our problems with this show is that there's a moment that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
If you pitch it on paper, like, they do this, they have this conversation, they do this, they point their guns at each other, they say, my beloved, Graphic talks this trash, Nick Fury slips wine into this person's drink. There's Olivia Colman is running about doing God knows what. On paper, on a pitch, it makes sense. Like, oh, this is really cool. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
I'm not gonna let you that slip by. I saw insult on Oliver Coleman.
What do you mean it makes sense?
Right, carry on.
I'm saying that on paper, this idea is like,
What do you mean it makes sense on paper?
I'm saying it's as a moment on its own. It's a cool moment on its own.
And I think that's the issue. They come with cool moments, and then
nobody goes, oh, does it connect to anything?
Yeah.
Or like logically, yeah. And that's where the problem is.
Remember, go on, Kekes.
No. I just wanted to do a time check because we've still got some other stuff.
Yeah. I'm done talking about this. I don't want to.
I'll just say I really love what Dapo said. Where I don't know if Marvel has a peer review system. I mean, you've occasionally heard some frustration from people like James Gunn, who's like at this point the only director and writer in Marvel who's been consistent with his output in terms of the quality from his first thing for Marvel to the final thing he did for them. But you really look at that and think he's right. He said certain things about directors who come unprepared, directors who don't have everything, the story, the script, everything right and ready to go the way they should. And then you also, if you know anything about Marvel's way of operating, where they've got the previous teams, they've got moments that they've planned and they've sequenced and they've already started working on those moments. And then the writers have to kind of write around those moments at the end of the day. So all of these things, this big machine is working, which means that the core script team that Feige oversees is where the problem is. I know we may want to blame the sub-writers and all the other people writing all this stuff, but the truth of the matter is, if you mapped it out properly, you can execute very well. They're no longer doing that. And I think it's because the guys at the top are stretched too thin. That's the way I feel. Simple.
Okay. Today, do you want to give us your rating for let's just go for the whole, not this episode, but for the whole series.
For the whole show.
Yeah. Don't be afraid.
I'm trying to think like I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be too mean.
Come on.
Yeah, but 1/5.
Okay. Red gave this a 2.5. Jay?
2.
Dapo?
For the first time, I normally take all my previous scores and do an average. For this first time ever, I'm going to take the average and then go lower. I'm just going to give this a 2.5. I think it's left the finale and everything's left a bad aftertaste that's now gone backwards in time to affect my past scores. So
I give it a 2 because I see what you're doing. Basically, the end result is less than the sum of its parts, which is amazing to see. Like, you guys had so much potential and then somehow came out with a sour taste at the end of the day.
Kekes?
I am I'm trying to be lenient with this, but the truth is that I have more sadness than happiness, or more sad moments than happy moments in this series. I think it was episode 4 that I did not find. I don't think I found 2 good things to talk about in that whole episode. Very, very poor. Very poor. I like the first episode. I think that's probably still my best. This last finale, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the fight between those two, to be honest. I think I will go with the 2.3. 2.3. It really could have been so much better, and it just
lot of lost potential.
Too much. It's sad. Okay, cool. So,
you forgot Wale's score for this. Wale gave it a 0/5.
Wale gave it a 0 out of 5.
That was a 0 for the episode, right? Was it
for the entire show? You reviewed the entire show. It's a 0 for me.
Okay.
Well deserved 0, actually.
We can't be well deserved 0. Come on.
It's a well deserved.
That's why I'm just like, how can we do this? Okay. Anyway, from Marvel to DC now, My Adventures with Superman episode 5. Let's jump into this one really quickly. Again, like this, I like this show because of the way I want to like it, and it's not necessarily always because of what I'm watching. I'll be honest. The animation, I think the animation style is good. It's simple. It's studio but it looks nice. I like the opening montage. I said this last week, but I'm pushing myself to like this show. This episode sees me. So now Lewis has cracked who Clark is, thank God. And this is one thing I was pushing for right from the start. Let her know who he is from the start quickly, and let's start like going on adventures. Jimmy is having some, I don't want to say jealousy, but he's starting to feel left out from the trio. It feels like there's now just like two people now, and yeah, we could get that vibe. And I don't know, I'm getting, I don't know. I'm getting a strange vibe from Jimmy, almost like he likes Clark himself.
The kind of, I had that vibe at one point in the episode. They were almost hinting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I felt this like an episode or two back, but it's fine. Who's the baddie? I mean, we see Slade Wilson, or we see Deathstroke. Deathstroke. Yes, I was like, it's not Deadpool. It's not Deathstroke. In costume for the first time.
He is Deadpool as well.
He's Deadpool, yeah. Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
So we see him in costume for the first time, and he goes up against Superman. There's something I like and I don't like at the same time. I like that this Superman is not super powerful, but I hate that he's so weak. Like, how is he fighting against Deathstroke against these robots? I'm like, man, come on, dude. You're bigger than this now. Fly into the sun, go and charge, come back and beat these guys. It's good because we see that he can be vulnerable, but I feel he gets his ass kicked too much. And then the new gang. Today, do you recognize those guys with the armor and stuff?
No, I didn't recognize them. Okay. They didn't mention names for most of them.
I just didn't know if you could recognize them from their powers or something. Maybe one of them is like Melter or something. But anyway, the main thing is that Lewis knows that Clark is Superman, and actually tests this by falling off a building and almost daring Clark not to catch her. Extreme, but that is very much a Lewis behavior. So I'm not shocked at all.
That's a maggot kidder Lewis behavior.
Maggot kidder and coming from the 70s. That was
honestly
that was like the most lowest moment I've seen on screen. Because are you telling me that I don't know what I know? How dare you? Come on.
See, that entire conversation really bugged me. I really do not like that entire thing at all. I was hoping that once she figured it out, he would tell her and you move back, because we've gone past this age of.
I was hoping he could be honest with her once she clocked.
Yeah, like it's this is the first real moment in the entire TV show so far that's really, really annoyed me. And it's funny because there's also something that I really liked, and that's Steve Lombard. I don't like.
Oh my God, I loved him.
Awesome here.
It was funny.
I loved him.
That whole sequence was
surprising.
Yeah.
Like, he's normally portrayed as a bit of a lunkhead, but let's be honest, you can't be the head of sports at a top newspaper without being some sort of a smart, have a brain. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this portrayal of Steve. I also like the fact that he was diving into the fact that, dude, sometimes you got to figure out your own life and stop waiting on other people.
Yeah, exactly. He was giving good advice, to be honest.
Yeah, really good advice.
Yeah, to
like, I'm not even kidding. I'm mentally taking notes. Like,
what is wrong?
Who would have thought life advice from Steve? Like, whoa, that was good stuff.
It displayed a lot of emotional maturity. Like, he was joking and everything, but like, it came to get Jimmy specifically because he saw him being left out, and it was like, okay, let me encourage this guy. And really good stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed this portrayal.
I like that when they add dimensions to characters that a lot of times we see as two-dimensional. So that was quite good. Kekes, I have to challenge you. I think you like this show, but you don't want to say you like it. I get this kind of reluctance from you.
No, I want to like it. It like, even the start, that guitar riff that they do in the opening, it gets me hyped. But I never feel satisfied at the end of the show. It's very short. It feels like it's 19 minutes or something, and nothing really ever happens. I swear I can't put my finger on this. I feel they're still trying to find their feet, and in season 2, it's going to get more. It's going to get better because there's going to be stakes. There's going to be more relationship. Now I don't know why it feels so bland.
There are so many.
Yeah, go on today.
Like there are so many. I'm with Kekes on this. Like
Okay.
it has some really good parts. There's a lot of hearts in it. Like Superman saving people up and down, rescuing the cat for the. It's heartwarming. But like when you look at the overall plot, the whole intergang thing, the way everything is just, I'm like,
Yes, intergang. Really?
it's
You know?
the technology. It's like it's somehow
Yeah.
it's not really. It doesn't really work.
He's
for me.
fighting robots and
Yeah.
you know.
Actually,
So
And
this is a show that is getting for me. It's a show that is getting good grades for me, not because of the plot, despite the plot. It's because of the characters
Okay,
and
thank
the
you.
interactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
plot is the thing that is drawing it back, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I can't fully pass it, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Oh,
And I think
that gang of robots you mentioned, I just forgot. There's one of them that we do know though. One of them we do know.
which one?
Silver Banshee.
No, that was last week. No, not from this account.
Yeah.
That was
No. That was last. Yeah. So we met Silver Banshee.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
met Livewire.
It's not the
we
same
met
guy.
Parasite / Ivo. Yeah, but
That was an
yeah,
interesting
but
choice.
You know, it's this
Parasite / Ivo.
Yeah.
That's how and Tunde theorized
I like
that
how
was
Tunde
Lex
went,
Luthor. And I
yeah,
was like
we don't talk about.
I would,
Not like meh.
yeah, it's
Tunde
not
literally, he visually shushed me like,
none
No,
of them.
I was like this, man. I
And-
didn't really
and-
feel that choice.
And none of these villains has meant anything to me. Like I haven't.
Yeah.
They just feel like they're almost villain of the week, and then we're moving on. Like very
And-
light touch.
Okay.
But that's why I say, sorry, that one. Just one quick thing. That's why I say
Yeah.
once we get to season 2, where the relationships are now established, and Clark starts to explore his Kryptonian side and can speak Kryptonian, and the Kryptonian threats come into this, it's going to be. I think the show is going to take off. That's my feel. Sorry, that one you were going to say.
No, I was going to, because you, Jay mentioned Ivo. The one thing that's been bugging me is that when they introduce the characters from the comics, I almost literally don't recognize them.
Yeah, they're quite unrecognizable.
It's happened to a few of them. And how I thought, oh, that's meant to be this. Oh, that's Deathstroke. Oh, it's happened a few times to me.
Yeah.
Like I remember when they had, I was watching it with my kids, and I'm like, wait. I said, why did they make Ivo a pretty boy? Like, why is he such a pretty boy Ivo? What's going on? And they were looking at me like, what? I said, you don't understand. You don't understand. But when it ends with him turning into Parasite, I'm like, oh.
No, but it's not Parasite. It's still Ivo. We'll
It's
probably
still
see
Ivo.
Yeah, but they said the armor is Parasite. So honestly, hand on heart,
confused by
I'm
that.
confused because I think it's
And-
an amalgamation, but I don't
And
know.
it had the color of Parasite.
The purple,
Yeah, we'll still get the character Parasite later on. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Ivo will still.
I'm guessing Rudy's we're gonna get Rudy.
Rudy,
Yeah.
Rudy will definitely come up. We can't just throw away Rudy. Just like
How do you know?
Well, we'll see. You know, I mean,
Tunde is one of the writers of this show. Are you allowed to discuss the details?
and I think if Alex is Lex, then there's something else that's going to happen with that character later on, where
Who's
we're going
Alex?
to delve the
assistant to Ivo
the
in the
assistant
previous
who
episode.
was.
Oh my goodness, no. Can't be.
Well, today's your
Yeah.
He has red hair.
as well. Maybe his hair is going to burn
Yeah.
off. Back. Yeah.
No way.
Okay, this is a good take.
I didn't catch it.
Caught it.
I didn't catch it.
I didn't either. I didn't
Like
until you
at
mentioned it.
all.
So
We were just shitting all over this Alex kid, and I'm like,
so yeah, let's see how it goes. But let's grade this one quickly. I want to jump into that comic book.
Yes, 3 over 5.
Today 3 or 5.
3, yeah.
Jay,
I give it a 4. I enjoyed it. It was all right.
okay. Dapo, you there?
It's a 3 from me as well.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with myself. I'm gonna give it a 2.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I want to give it more, but I'm gonna be honest with myself. Like, in terms of my enjoyment, I was like, when it ended, I was like,
You are giving it the same score you gave Secret Invasion.
the entire season. It's my enjoyment I'm talking about. Because honestly,
okay.
at the end of this episode, I was like, what did you do? Now Jimmy goes somewhere and then meets a creature, and I'm like, I wasn't happy. Okay, cool. So Hellfire Gala comic book
Yes.
review.
Kekes, can I
No,
stop you?
no, don't start that, boy.
I-
You're not.
I don't want to talk about this. We're 1 hour
Okay.
40 minutes in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
How long are we going to take to speak on this without rushing it? We don't have secret version next
Let's
week.
defer it. Let's defer it to next week.
Let's
should defer
preserve
it, Abi.
this
Yes.
because
As
Because
in,
my
I'm
anger is still hot.
read it
I'm
yet.
telling you guys,
Please,
it's going to
let's
read it again.
defer.
Okay.
Because my anger is very hot. It's burning hot for this.
I promise you, I'm doing homework on you guys. We're gonna go to town on this.
Okay.
I know you guys are angry.
Yeah.
I know you guys are upset.
Very.
I know you mutant lovers think this is the worst comic
It's
ever
not
written,
about mutant lovers. I'm like, if
but I
this
think it's
goes
one
the
of the
way it's
best comics
going,
I've ever read. Okay.
if this goes the way it's going, I'm not reading X-Men
Yes.
ever again.
Man,
Like,
did you
this
say
is
this
the
is one
last
of your
X-Men
best
arc.
comics you've ever read?
That's why the
Oh man, I
Yes,
still
problem.
want
So,
to hear about this after.
I do want to ask
after the
something,
end.
please, guys. I want to ask something, and
Yeah.
and I mean, you Tunde and Dapo, you really wank Storm a lot, and I'm like, Storm's a good character, but you guys just imitate me when you're talking about Storm. She's badass. So I want to ask one question. So the red triangle defense,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
if you know the red triangle defense, you can block Xavier.
Yeah.
You can resist, yeah.
That feels very
Okay, it's gone.
no, not even red. It feels like the first time I heard it was X-Men Red, right?
Yep.
But it feels very like you're telling me that one of the most powerful psychics in the world, who's an Omega level telepath,
Yep.
who's
Is he
Power.
Omega level?
Omega of the Omegist when it comes to mind. Don't let
I
me
thought
check
Jean
this.
was the Omega.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
Jean was
is.
Omega for telepathy, but is Xavier
So?
Omega for? I thought that was Legion.
Storm. You're talking as if Omega only occurs once.
No,
Storm,
Yeah,
There's
he's
Omega
already-
for each
Storm,
power.
Storm, Iceman, Magneto, Xavier, Jean.
Okay. Tunde, no, multiple omegas for a power. Sometimes.
Oh, there are multiple Omegas for each power.
Yeah, it's not
I
like
thought it was
there's only one
Omega.
Omega level.
Because I thought Omega was
Omega is a
an
level.
I even think Exodus is an
Omega is a
Omega.
level.
I think Exodus is even an Omega.
Omega.
Yeah.
No, because my understanding of Omega was that the person that has displayed the highest was
Okay.
No,
For
it means there's
that
no
particular
conceivable
power.
ceiling. There's no ceiling.
Yeah.
There's no ceiling established for that person. It doesn't have to be for one grade. It could be there can be 4 of you Omega level telepaths.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't like the resistance.
No, not and it's not from. I genuinely, honestly, it's not from this comic book. It's from when it happened in X-Men Red.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are you trying to tell Storm? How are you trying to read Storm's mind and then Storm blocks you and says, Omega, and says, hey, triangle, and then you just fly out of her mind.
It makes sense if it's the strongest telepath, and it's not as if he put that in their minds that okay, I want to be stopped, so I'm going to give the strongest possible defense to stop you.
Yeah.
So it's like he's the one making that lock as strong as it is.
Yeah, he's the one who gave them the skill sets to do it.
And not just yeah. So it's like I'm the one actively stopping myself.
We'll go into more details. I mean, for those who haven't read X-Men, let me just to our listeners out there. So next week we'll go about Hellfire Gala. It helps if you understand at least what's been happening with the X-Men over the last couple of years, at least, where they've had their own homeland in Krakow, their own government, and they've been going about I've been nice. They've been going about creating their own government, doing things, and it seems now Paradise has come to an end, and this comic called Hellfire Gala is the beginning of it seems to be the beginning of one of the biggest mutant massacres in history of comics. If it plays out the way it seems it's playing out.
Yeah. If it plays out this way,
last question. We're going to you will not read again. Right, let me ask you.
X-Men again.
What's worse? What's worse in your there was the mutant massacre where the Moloch massacre.
Murloc.
Genosha.
Yes. Okay.
Genosha.
There was Genosha.
There was no more mutants.
MD.
Did you have such heavy, angry
Not at all.
energy, emotions that you
Not
had
at all.
with this one.
Not
I
at
didn't
all.
read.
Okay.
Not at
I didn't
all.
read. I didn't read those ones in real time as they were happening.
Okay.
I read them long after what it happened.
All right. Okay.
But
Okay.
I remember reading Genosha, and I absolutely hated what happened in Genosha. I absolutely hated that entire arc.
Okay.
No More Mutants, not
It was-
really. I didn't really care
it
because
was-
X-Men was shit at that time. But this particular arc, has already made what's this thing called, and highlighted the atrocities, those atrocities
Okay.
from the get-go. That's put a spotlight on those atrocities, and then you go ahead and repeat it again. No, I can't stand it.
So some of the most powerful, the X-Men have never been as powerful as they are right now.
Yeah.
Never throughout history that we've been reading it.
Agreed.
And that they would be decimated in such a manner. I'm telling you, I've never been so. No, not when Genosha was destroyed, not when Avalon dropped, not during M-Day, not during the Murloc. The Murloc massacre didn't even affect me because it was just an event to keep things moving along. It didn't affect the X-Men personally, except for Angel. So this, I was disgusting.
Nah. Very disgusting.
Okay, we'll talk about. So, guys, you know what we're going to talk about next week? It's going to be
144.
Episode 144. It's going to be mutants, humans in the Marvel universe. You know, do you agree with what happened? I don't say anyone would agree with what happened. No, no. It's to me. It's a logic. It's a always a logical conclusion. There's a phrase in, I think it's in the first Avenger. Might, I can't remember how the phrase was. It might kind of begets more might against you.
Yeah, it invites.
It's way
Yeah. It will invite someone to.
Yeah,
I don't even.
And that's basically what's happened here. The mutants have got very powerful, and as Kek said, way powerful than they've ever been.
Okay.
And so the guys who came at them, the collision that came at them came hardcore.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
All right.
Next week.
We'll talk about it next week. All right, guys. Okay.
Those are fighting words, but I'm trying to keep my calm right now.
That's
but
it.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
episode 143, guys.
Yeah.
And yes, so thank you. Next week, guys, look forward to talking about. So Tunde and Dapo may drop their TMNT reviews depending on whether or not they've seen it. We will be discussing My Adventures with Superman episode 6, and we'll be talking about Hellfire Gala, the events and the implications of what that event is going forward for the X universe. Right. So time to say our goodbye. So from us, remember to rate, like, subscribe. Naija's Geeking Out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Jay, wanna say goodbyes, plug anything?
Yes, y'all, you can catch me at Nuru the Nerd Guru. You can also catch the overall Naija Nerds at NaijaNerds.com. You can catch the larger articles and reviews and things that we do over there at any of your social media handles. It's the Naija Nerds.
Nice. Today.
Yes, as the voice of truth on this podcast, the only one that from episode 1 told you Secret Invasion was trash, and you guys didn't believe me, I remain Tunde, the faithful lone voice
Hater.
of truth.
I will not be triggered. I will not be triggered. Listeners, thanks once again for listening, and we will see you later.